Okay, I'm just doing a drone report at 103 to 105 Chandos Street, Crow's Nest. Just inspecting the front left-hand side of the building first. I'm going to work my way around the building. First, I just found that there's one tile that's just not sitting correctly there, just below the skylight. We'll pull that down, just make sure it's secured. The lead flashing, it just needs to be dressed down. You can see some of the lead flashing, it's kind of not sitting very well. So we'll just fix it all up, dress it all back down to the tiles, make sure that it's secured. I've noticed at the window there's something hanging out of the window, so we'll have a look at that. It's not something we can probably do, but it might be a rubber seal or something, so we'll just mention that once we've been there and looked at it. Looking down the left-hand side of the roof, you can see all the watermarks where the downpipe spreader's empty onto the roof. They're all good. I'm just going to move up to the top of the roof here. Show you the ridge capping. I found that the ridges have started to crack and become loose in a number of areas. So it's probably a good idea to look at repointing all the ridge capping. You can see that just where the tiles meet the ridge capping, there's cracks all the way along it. Some of them are worse than others. These are little areas where water can get into in beneath the ridge capping and then create a problem down the track. So I'd recommend just pulling those, just resealing all those ridge capping tiles with colour-coded flexible pointing. Some of the gable tiles there had slid down, so we'll just need to fix those up and get those back in place, and we'll repoint all the gable edges as well. Just make sure that those tiles are sitting correctly, and just make sure that the gable edges where they're cracked, we'll reseal those similar to the ridge capping as well. Now I'm just moving down towards the back of the building on the left hand side, just getting a closer view here of the gables. As I move down towards the back here, you can see there's one cracked tile there that we'll need to replace that. I've found a couple of cracked tiles around the roof that we'll replace as we go. I'd probably expect there's maybe 5 to 10 cracked tiles, not a huge amount. But as I kind of turn around and look back at the back end of the building here, the skylight's all in good condition there. The little vent up above it, it's all fine. You can see the top ridge here just in view there. Where I was mentioning it's cracked. There's one cracked tile over the back of that ridge capping there, so we'll need to remove that ridge capping to get to that tile. But there's another tile there that's it looks like it's been siliconed over where the lead kind of laps onto it there, so we'll have a good look at that. If that needs to be replaced, we'll replace that one. The lead flashing is all in good order. There's no splits or tears in the lead flashing, so we won't have to do any sealing or any replacing of the lead that I can see at the moment. But we will need to just dress it all down, just so it's all sitting down flat on the tiles and not allowing any water to get in underneath the laps or to any of the wind to blow up the lead. There's one more cracked tile there. You can see it's been silicone. That one's in a bad spot because it's directly below the spreader pipe there, so that water's just running straight onto that area where the tile's actually cracked. So we'll definitely make sure that one's replaced. That one there will be replaced. I'm going to also recommend all the antenna points to be resealed. Just given that the antenna kind of moves around a little bit in the wind, you can actually just see the cable vibrating there a little bit when I move past it. So we'll just reseal all those little anchor points that hold those antennas in place, just to make sure that they're not dripping or allowing any water in. I will be doing a gutter clean on this roof as well, just to recommend clearing out all the gutters. There are some trees that overhang both sides of the building, so it's probably a good idea to just clear it out. You can see there's a little bit of water pooling in that gutter, but not a huge amount, so it won't need any adjusting at this stage. Just having another look at that gable edge there, it's cracked as well, so I'm just kind of highlighting most of the areas that I can find. There's anchor points on this roof, so we'll be able to use those to clip onto so we can access the roof. It is quite steep, so we'll need to do this work off harnesses and utilise the anchor points that are in place so that we can carry out the works. Just giving you a bit of a view here of this ridge capping, and then just going to move down along the back side of the roof. This vent pipe, it's all in good order. The flashing's fine. There's no need to replace that. Um, it's I don't actually know what's happened here, but they've put a little covering over it, so I don't know why they've done that, whether it was leaking or something, I'm not sure, but we'll just leave that in place. It doesn't look like it's causing too much of a drama there. There's a couple of tiles just slipped down around the right side of the skylight, so we'll push those back up and just make sure they're secured, and then we'll need to pull that top one there down just so that it comes right down. It's only just sitting over the top of the tile, so I wouldn't be surprised if that's probably letting some water in at that point. Now I'm just going to move around the side here and head down the right hand side or the western side of the roof. You can see the lead flashing along that chimney there has actually started to sag down a little bit. It needs to be pushed back up. You can see there's a gap below each tile, so we just need to dress that down and just make sure that that water that's pooling behind the chimney will be dressed down as well, so that so it doesn't pool there as it is at the moment. The water will run away from that area. You can see that lead flashing there. It's sitting correctly. It just needs to be dressed right down around that edge of the gable there, just so it's right. There's a tile at the top of the valley. It probably can be trimmed up a little bit. There's one broken one there. There's a couple of pieces of tile in the valley. I want to check all these soakers at the bottom of the valley. They look like they've been done well, but I just want to make sure that they're turned up underneath the valley tiles, just to prevent water overflowing that soaker flashing and running inside. There's another tile there that slipped down, so we'll just any of these valley tiles that have slipped down, we're going to resecure with a valley clips just to prevent them from sliding. As I was mentioning about that top valley tile there at the very top of the valley, we'll just cut that so it's actually fitted correctly at the top and allowing that water to channel around into the valley itself. Just having a quick look at the lead flashing here underneath this valley. The lead flashing's in pretty good order. I can't see any real major issues with the side flashings there that have been done. They all look like they've been done quite well. Just another antenna point there up the top that we'll reseal. We'll cut the old silicone away. We'll seal them all with Sikaflex polyurethane sealant just so they're watertight. As I mentioned earlier, we'll be repointing all the gable edges. We'll be repointing all the top ridge tiles. We'll fix up all these lead flashings here. You can see that one's kind of a bit all over the shop as well. So there's one slip tile there just on the left hand side that we'll need to push back up, get that lead flashing down and dressed down properly just so that tile doesn't slide again. You can see the other side is actually folded down around that tile so it doesn't slip. So we'll just need to make sure that all those tiles are sitting as they should. As I move kind of more towards the front of the building now, you can see all that flashing down that wall there is in pretty good order. To be honest, the roof's in pretty good condition. Probably the biggest issue is that heavy rain that we had. It's possibly overflowed some of those lead flashings that I've talked about that'll need to be all dressed down. But as I move out towards the front of the building here, you can see this ridge capping's the same. It's cracked. Water could be getting in from these points and tracking its way down the sarking, down through holes in the sarking where it's creating a problem, and water getting into the roof space. A little bird there. Now as I come down towards the front of the valley, this one's really good. It's, to be honest, the roof's clean. It's steep. The leaves blow off it. The valleys, it looks like they might even maintain the gutters in the valleys because they are pretty clean. There is one crack tile there at the front that will just replace that one. So the gutter clean will probably only just consist of a quick blowout or just clean out any leaves that we can find, but there's nothing major there. This hip here on the right hand side will need to re-cement that one in. You can see it's been repaired before in the past. It's kind of looks like it's been troweled on with a hand, so we'll fix that up and just make sure that's all sealed correctly with new colour coded flexible pointing. But all in all, the roof's in pretty good condition. Just needs a bit of maintenance work. In particular, the flashing is just looked at, and the ridge capping to be resealed is the main issues with the roof.